China for a week? I want a 7-day trial before we fully buy in. The Kate Daly Show starts now.
The biggest mistake I ever made as a parent, in my opinion, was letting my children go to public school. The second biggest mistake was letting them go to a school at all. The purpose of school is to manufacture employees for businesses. It's not to teach your children to be smart. There's a book that I would recommend highly. It's called Weapons of Mass Instruction. John Taylor Gatto. He was the 5-time Teacher of the Year in New York, and he became totally disillusioned when he realized that the purpose of being a school teacher was not to teach math. I think that maybe he taught English or math. He said, I became disillusioned the day I realized my job was not to teach math, but my job was to teach school. Think about it. In school, they teach you that nothing is important. Well, how do they do that? It's the only place that you will ever work in your life where you work on something for 45 or 55 minutes and then a bell rings and you close your book. You don't care about that anymore until tomorrow. It doesn't make any sense. And the reason they use bells in schools is because that's what they use on the assembly lines. Lunchtime, ring a bell. Okay, go to lunch. Ring a bell again. You come back from lunch. The whole thing was programmed for a stimulus response. We still tell our children, well, if you want to do well in life, you got to go to college, get a degree. Well, the only reason we tell them that is because that's what we're expected to tell them. We haven't really thought about it.
All right, welcome. Kate Daly Show. So happy to have you listening last hour on a Monday. And of course, we have the great, or I have, I'm so used to saying we, Milty's out. We have, I have Dr. Duke Pesta. See, it's a habit. I can't not do it. Dr. Duke Pesta, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Amazing. Okay, I just played that clip about the indoctrination of schools and how they would ring a bell because that's what the workers would do to get the kids conditioned to being a worker bee. And I have to laugh because between that and the prison bus and everything else and the food, you have to kind of think, well, like, what are we being conditioned for? But I do love that clip a lot because it talks about get your kids out of the public education. It's the government schools. And I just have major love for that clip. Okay. So the Democrat convention starts today. And I can't imagine the crowd for this convention. But did you want to say something about this? Oh, my gosh.
I mean, where do you start? I mean, at every level, this is not just cringy, but it's, you know what, if I had to be concise, and I seldom am, but if I had to be concise, I would say the one thing that horrifies me is that this is all Potemkin nonsense, right? Yeah. This is all smoke and mirrors. This is kabuki. It's like the commercials that we're getting from Kamala and Waltz. Do you really imagine the two of them wandering through a local gas station, picking out Doritos for themselves, or sitting over a table eating tacos? No. And we should talk about that too, because the racism of these videos are pretty stunning as well. But to me, what is so frustrating about this is Soviet in the way that it's all flash and glitter. Right. It's shadow and smoke. There's no meat, no substance here. I mean, how do you explain to the American people the last 4 years, other than to pretend that it was all Biden's fault and Kamala had nothing to do with it? That's what they're doing. Right. So, and the fact that we're going to hear from Biden, and there's going to be all these fake testimonies about how wonderful he is, how he saved democracy. It's just one big episode of The West Wing. Remember that stupid show in the 90s?
Yes. I did. I watched that show. Yes. I remember that. What cracks me up is if everything is so great, which they're going to parade around and say because they've been in, then why are they trying to fix everything on day one? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
What are they fixing?
No, you're
it's
right.
So great. Anyway.
Everything is perfect because Democrats have power. And things are so bad that you need Democrats to fix what's wrong. That's the contradictory message of this convention.
Yes, and all the things that she hasn't done. She's in office right now that she can do, and she won't do it, but she's saying she'll do it on day one in 2025, which just cracks me up to no end because it's so in our face. The hypocrisy, the lying, the crazy, the AI. In the last hour, I was pointing out she looks different now. She's got this more AI features. But if you look at her photo, even a couple of years ago, that just does not match up. I mean, she looks more youthful and like she's had plastic surgery. It's very weird what they're trying to do. And the poster of her looking up and it says forward, right, on the bottom. And I made the joke on Friday that's her direction for walking, moving forward here. but she's so Obama-ish. that I've got to have Trevor Loudon back on the show too, because he nailed it when he said she would end up in the White House. You know, he didn't know as vice president or president, but Obama's people were behind her. Look at the posters of Obama and her, identical posters, just identical.
Yeah, she's a cartoon.
Yeah,
she's a cartoon.
Yeah,
she's
AI.
A space filler. She is a avatar.
Yeah.
She is I mean, to be cliche, she is a empty suit, an empty pantsuit.
Right.
That's what she is, and that's what they try to sell. You know, a little bit of cackling in the right area. If you ignore all the rest of it, you erase all of the rest of it. Yeah. Looks charming. You know, this kind of rich, privileged woman pretending to be from the streets is laughable. It's like something from Seinfeld, right? It's childish.
Right.
And you know, I've mentioned this before. Others have mentioned it too. Mm-hmm. You know, what I get to is you look at J.D. Vance and you look at somebody like Kamala, and we're told that Vance is a racist, Vance is a privileged white guy, all that stuff. And yet he grew up in abject poverty. He had no shoes when he was a kid. He had to scrape and claw to survive. I mean, he had a crazy grandmother who had guns. I mean, his backstory, J.D. Vance, is very black. It's very ghetto, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, you've got the alleged Kamala, who's supposed to be, you know, a DEI hire. She's supposed to be, you know, representative of African Americanism in this country, and she's neither African or American. Right. And her parents are from Jamaica and India, so she's not really black. Mm-hmm. And she grew up in the richest neighborhood in Quebec. She went to prep schools. I mean, we're pretending that Kamala has got some kind of street cred, and we're acting as if J.D. Vance is some. It's almost like they've switched positions.
Right.
He is like they're attacking Vance as if he had her upbringing and bragging. Kamala is that she has his upbringing. It's weird, and not enough people are really pushing that.
Yeah, I mean, JD's an insider. I've had people in the know say to me, he's probably scarier than people realize as far as the inside connections and what he is bringing to the table as vice president. So people get mad at me when I say that because they think it's such a dig, and it's like they're all a uniparty. It just frustrates me to no end that we're still doing the side thing. That side, our tribe, their tribe. It's all a uniparty. But you're right, though, in these very obvious lies. You know, when they started serving up all of these wacko, lefty loonies in all the cabinets and started serving this up as normal to us. And then they try to sell lies in front of our face. You know, there has to come a time, I think, for most of us when you go, oh my gosh, what are they actually doing with all of this? Because to lie in front of our face when we know who Hormala is, we know that 4 years ago she introduced herself as the first Indian, person. We know she's lying. Everyone knows she's lying. So what's the game? Like, what are they doing? Why are they throwing all of this in our face 24/7? You know, let's take a quick phone call, and then I want to get your comment. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Hey, Kate. Hi there. I just want to tell you a real quick observation. I was working today in Old City, Philadelphia. I mean, these homes are 1700 from the early 1800s.
Okay.
And in this area, they do have Harris flags out. I saw two of them, and it's very unique. All I ever see when it comes to anything with like Harris or Biden or like that, these are people that have money.
Yeah.
These row homes go for $2 million for a little tiny row home. They've all got money. And when you go out of that area and go into New Jersey or you go into the suburbs of Philadelphia, there's Trump signs everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's so brilliant. I just got behind the truck right now going home, and there it says Trump 2024.
Trump,
But it's a pickup truck.
Right.
So it's that small little minority that are voting for him. And then the other big thing is, you know who votes for him a lot?
What?
People that work for the government. And look at the amount of people that work for the government. They don't want to lose their job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a huge voting base.
Let me let Dr. Pesta in on this. Hold on just a second. Dr. Pesta?
I actually have a question for you, caller. You're living in Philadelphia. And we know in both elections with Obama, there were huge cheating that actually pushed Obama to that state's victory, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So my question for you, as somebody who lives in Philadelphia, do you think the machine is going to be able to compensate for so many people in Pennsylvania who seem to be turning to Trump? What do you think is going on in Pennsylvania in terms of fair elections?
They're not going to care. They're really, the people that are like pro, we'll say Trump, they know the elections are rigged. They're going to shake their head. They do have a house. They do have a kid. They're not about to go get arms and jeopardize it. It's sad but true. They're not really going to do much. It's just not going to happen. And that small little minority that vote for them are going to be, but they have the media behind them. It's a fair election. That's all they're going to do. Now, I don't think it's going to change anything.
Okay.
And Obama was really voted in on his first term. I really think that. I even voted for this stupid idiot.
Oh
right? Until about a month in, and I realized he lied, but that's another story. But second term, did not vote for him. Didn't have nothing to do with them. I'm very independent. I hate two-party systems. I think they're ridiculous. I think they divide people.
Me too. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the phone call. Love it. Love it. All right, Dr. Pesta. So I was talking to, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, glad to hear that. I mean, and yes, I think that's my concern. He hit something on the head. It is government people, and it is the Democrats now are the government class, the unmovable, unremovable government class, and the people who are multimillionaires and billionaires. That's their. The problem is that there's a lot of power, wealth, and access that the rest of us don't have. And so, go back to the question that I asked him. I think that right now, if it was an election, a fair election, I think Trump would win it, not by much, but he'd win it. The big question that I have, and it's going to be particularly in Philadelphia, I remember that one, I think it was the second election or the first for Obama, when there were 30,000 votes cast all for Obama, and there were only, 26,000 voters that were registered in that county?
Yep.
So, I mean, that kind of stuff, if that goes on again, it's going to be very difficult for the Republicans in places like Pennsylvania.
Right. We're going to come right back more with Dr. Duke Pesta, but I just think that actually the majority of the country, way more than just a little bit, but a lot, would vote actually for Trump. I do, because the Democrats don't want this same economy, and they know it's not going to change under Hormala. Be right back for those reasons. Be right back. Kate Daly Show, KateDalyRadio.com.